Hello everybody, my name's Tim Smith. I'm one of the Cyprus Mouflons coaches. Now Cyprus Mouflons is an organisation, paddling organisation, which is spread out throughout Cyprus. We have branches and clubs and teams in different parts of the island, but wherever you go, you're going to get a proper safety brief before we'll allow you to go out on the water. It takes about 20 minutes, half an hour. But before you do that, I need to give you some really important information, because we have two things which are fundamentally important to the way we do things at Cyprus Mouflons. The first is safety. Your safety is our priority, absolutely paramount. The second is good coaching. You're going to get good coaching from us. It's going to be good quality coaching from qualified people. So you need to understand some basics before you get out of the starting blocks. Now, one of our coaches will give you a safety brief and a paddling brief on the day, but you need to watch this video first so you have an idea what to expect. The induction section will be at a certain time, 9:45, 10:45, whatever it is. Please turn up on time. We're not going to cut any corners. So, like I say, 20 minutes, 30 minutes with a warm-up, and then join the club, join the crew out on the water and have a safe and harmonious paddling session. What we don't want people is turning up, rushing around and then rushing into the boat and missing some points. Okay, so basically, your safety is our priority. Here we go. Remember this if you remember nothing else. Stay with your buddy, stay with the boat, float, acclimatise, listen for the next command. Now, we are not planning to do any capsizing in the first instance when you get in the boat. However, in the unlikely event of a capsize happening, you need to follow some simple instructions. And they are, stay with your buddy, stay with the boat, float, acclimatise, listen for the next command. Okay, I'll come onto that in a little while. A dragon boat is a large canoe. It has either 22 people if it's a standard boat, or 12 people, it's what we call a small boat, sat or seated or stood in the boat when it's fully loaded. Now that is a helm steerer, also known as a boat captain at the back. They'll give you safety advice and steering advice obviously, and a drummer cox could also be the coach on the front. That leaves 10 seats in a standard boat, 5 seats in a small boat. So you can see, paddlers are sitting side by side, and the person sitting next to you is your buddy. Really important, get to know your buddy. It's a very friendly sport, very sociable sport, and it's all about looking after each other. So you look after your buddy looks after you. So there you go, unpacking this. Stay with your buddy. Stay with the boat. If you end up in the water unexpectedly, then stay with the boat. The boat floats. It weighs 240 or 260 kilos depending on the make, but it floats upside down, on its end, on its side, right way up. Okay, so stay with your buddy, stay with the boat. It becomes a second buoyancy aid. So stay with your buddy, stay with the boat, float, acclimatise, listen for the next command. Float, acclimatise, what's that all about? What tends to happen is, people call it cold water shock, but think about water shock. You end up in the water unexpectedly, you get shocked. That's the reaction, isn't it, when you have a shock? Sharp intake of breath. It's a natural reaction. The problem is, a bit of a human being design fault. If you're in the water, sharp intake of breath means you take in some water. And that's where people panic in the water. Suddenly they can't breathe as well as they normally could, and they panic and they start thrashing around. So, float, acclimatise, a few seconds, 30 seconds, listen for the next command. Fortunately in Cyprus, most times of the year, the water is fairly warm, above 15 degrees. However, cold water is relative. A small person or an older person with worse circulation will suffer the cold more. I fortunately don't have a huge amount of fat on me, so I get very cold in the water very quickly. That's a Tim Smith design fault. But anyway, that's the way it is. Stay with the buddy, stay with the boat, float, acclimatise, listen for the next command. This will be numbers. Now let me tell you about the numbering system, really important. When you first get in the boat, the captain or the coach will ask you to number off. Now, if you have a drummer, they'll be number 1, and then left, right down the boat, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If there's no drummer, front left will be number 1. So you'll number off. Each person will have a number. If you change your place during the session, then you'll renumber, so don't worry about that. But say for example there's 20 people in the boat, 19 people in the boat, you'll number off, so the boat captain or the coach will shout numbers, and you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, left, right down the boat. Okay, so that's your numbers. If you end up in the water in a emergency situation, capsize situation, the next command from either the helm or the number 2, which is their second in command if they can't do it for any reason, will be crew numbers. And the way it goes is a question and answer. So the helm boat captain will shout 1, question, and the number 1, front left, or the drummer, whoever it's going to be, will shout 1 in reply. So what's that about? Question and answer. What he or she is saying is number 1, are you okay? Are you listening? Are you paying attention? Are you breathing? If you're breathing, you're thinking. Okay? And that's the question. So instead of going into a big, long, yes, I'm okay, blah, 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 the number 1 simply replies 1. Question and answer, you've established communication with number 1. Are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. And so it goes down the boat. So that's the point of it. Stay with your buddy, stay with the boat, float, acclimatise, listen for the next command, which will be numbers. Your coaches on the day of your induction will tell you all about paddling forwards, paddling backwards, sideways, emergency stopping the boat, etc., and that fine detail. Pay attention to that. Last thing I'm going to talk to you about is the basics of paddling, and you'll get more detail from your coach, from a number of qualified coaches. It's a paddle, it's a lever, okay? It's a lever and extension of a body, logically. And what links all sports? All participatory sports are linked because they're aiming, whatever the sport is, whether it's darts, paddling, archery, or whatever it's going to be, it aims to use the body, the human body, most effectively and efficiently. Now, if you happen to be a para-paddler, mobility impaired paddler, or adaptive paddler, there may be some physical reason why you don't work exactly the same as everybody else. No problem at all. As long as we know that you're coming, then we can make the relevant adaptations. This is an open and inclusive sport. Everybody is welcome. There are very, very, very few exceptions to that, okay? But if you have some mobility impairment requirements, tell us in advance and we can make sure the right provisions are in place and we can make the necessary adjustments so you can enjoy your session as much as anybody else, and you're fully entitled to do so, and you are absolutely welcome. Please bear that in mind as well. However, using the paddle, we're aiming to use the body as levers. If I was paddling a kayak and I was paddling like this, it looks rather silly, doesn't it? And what I'm actually doing is I'm trying to use my small muscles. Now, I've got a bicep here. Now, it doesn't matter how big my bicep is, it's not really very relevant to paddling a dragon boat. There's another bicep in your leg, part of your hamstrings group, bicep femoris. That's quite useful. More about that later on. But what we're basically looking for, and whichever club or tradition you may have paddled with in the past, these are some fairly basics. Notice, big open body position, holding the paddle, knuckles up, on that T-grip or the palm grip, a logical, natural position where my body is strong. This area here, if you're a paddler, is called the paddler's box, and I've got a box in front of me. However I paddle, it might be an angle. Head up, back straight, looking where I'm going. I'm going in that direction. I'm not going over there, I'm not going up there, so that's where I need to look. Everything's logical. And I'm paddling forwards. So head up, back straight, arm up. Notice my arm is not locked out here, and I'm not paddling like a chicken wing. It's a logical position, soft bend. Arm up, as if I'm pointing where I'm going. Soft bend so I can engage that big muscle in the back called the lats. There's another big muscle called the serratus anterior, big swing muscle. Don't worry about that. We're not worried about physiology at the moment. Big open body position, looking where I'm going. There's a twist, I engage the hip. There's a lean where I come down to meet the water. There's a catch where I grab the water or hook the water, and then I pull the paddle back with the big muscles, back and legs, not arm, and I move the boat past the paddle, not the paddle past the boat. That's the basics. Boat past the paddle, not paddle past the boat. So I'm using big muscles to motivate or move the boat. I'm not using small muscles, this little one here, okay? That's it so far. Now, what you probably noticed already, it's a thinking person's sport, but we'll take it up in stages, and you'll notice that in dragon boating, what I've noticed over the years, that there's 4 P's when it comes to dragon boating. There's lots of different acronyms, but basically dragon boating is about physics. There's a bit of physics, so you need a rough idea about what's going on regarding physics. If you know about Newton's laws of motion, that helps, but you probably could know them without stating them. Bit of physiology, know how your body works, so you can get the best out of it. Bit of psychology, small group, team psychology, and there's a little bit of philosophy as well, okay? Anyway, enough from me. Have a lovely day, enjoy your paddle, enjoy your time with Cyprus Mouflons, and you are very, very welcome with us. Cheers.